Hey, this is Gina Grad.
Hi, this is Teresa Strasser.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Errico.
Hey there. This is Casey Cavalier.
I'm Rocky Rose.
And you are listening to The Jay Franzi Show.
Lucky you.
Welcome to The Jay Franzi Show. A behind-the-curtain look at the entertainment industry with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard. Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and this is your backstage pass to the music industry. Joining me tonight, the Betty to my Barney, my beautiful co-host, Miss Tiffany Mason.
In the house.
If you are new to this show, this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. So if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jayfranzi.com. And if you would like to join us here live on the show, ask your question, make your comment, or just make fun of us, head over to jayfranzi.com/live. All right, before we get started, let me just tell you what the question of the day is, so I don't forget to do that. Question of the day: who is a musician that you would like to see come back from the dead? Who is a musician that you wish were still alive? Fair enough?
I like it.
Right.
I like it. Let's
go.
Resurrect some people.
There you go. All right, let's just jump in.
Who would you resurrect or watch in hologram now because you wish you could bring them back to life?
It is Easter. Is it Easter yet? When's Easter? Easter's next month, right? That's wrong. You probably shouldn't be doing that.
I was going to say you're hopping ahead a little.
Hopping ahead. Lightning will strike tonight, folks. All right. Well, let's say back in, I would say, the 90s, maybe early 90s. I used to live in New York. I had a recording studio in New York, and I would just go see live bands, spend a lot of time working with the bands from the area, from the New York area. And I had a chance to go see this band. It was a 5-piece band that I really enjoyed. I thought they were really good. I bought their first couple albums. I just really liked their music. However, they ran into some struggles. So they were losing players. So they would lose guitar players and they would lose drummers on a frequent basis, leaving just the bass player and the singer. So after rounds and rounds of losing musicians, they decided to go ahead and try them as a duo. So the bass player learned to play guitar, and then he plays bass with pedals like an organ player would. And then the singer plays flute, plays drums, plays bass on a trigger pad, and whatever else is needed throughout the night. And these two musicians together sound like a full band when they perform live, which is very impressive. So I became good friends with these people, so much so that I recorded a record for a girl named Mindy Jo Regal, and I asked the singer of this band to come in and sing background vocals. So I had a brief moment spent in the studio with this person. So I'm giving the backstory of a band called Sirsy. Sirsy. S-I-S? No, S-I-R-S-Y.
Sound it out, people. Sound it out with us.
Sirsy. Sir,
S-I-R-S-Y.
A nickname that was given to her, I believe, by her sister. Probably could not pronounce sister.
Aw, cute.
Anyways, so this band has been a favorite of mine for a long time. We've become friends. I've followed them throughout the years, and I've recommended to several people to go check them out whenever possible. And everybody has always come back with some sort of a positive review. So, Miss Tiffany, they came to your area, and I recommended that you go see them. So tonight, I'm expecting a full-blown book report on what you thought of the show.
Well, Jay, I can do you one better. I did a whole podcast episode about it. Nice. So it's not going to come out till March 27th, though. So I will give you some cliff notes. It was in Daytona Beach, so we had to drive down there.
It was a windy evening in Daytona Beach.
It really was, actually. We were very surprised to
Sun
pull
went
into
down
town.
late.
We were shocked as we pulled into town and there were police motorcycles everywhere. We were like, what's going on? And then it dawned on us. It was bike week. Yes.
Fun time to be driving around in Daytona.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, I was expecting, some kind of weird brawl of some sort, but that never did happen. There were a lot of motorcycles, a lot of different types, a lot of different combinations of guys riding together or dudes with their wives or girlfriends or side by side or all the different bike types. But we got to the hotel, found where we were going to watch Sirsy. I had in my head it was going to be like concert-ish. Like there was going to be a stage, it was going to be on the sand, and we were going to be like dancing or whatever. And instead, it was on like a very large balcony. And because it was windy, I think it didn't drown them out, but I don't think that they got the best sound because they were playing all these musical instruments. And then they had like this crazy seating policy, and you had to be seated with menus or you could be served. It was a whole thing that we were like, what the? Because there were open tables. So we were like, why can't we sit here?
I'll sit
So
with the menu.
that was the whole
Sure,
thing.
just put the menu in that chair over there.
Yeah. So then they did break and went up and met them and talked to them. Melanie couldn't have been nicer. Rich was engaged in conversation with another patron of their event. But their stories were great. And it was funny because Rich was saying how the bass guitarist never gets the girl, but he did. And then they made a joke that now he's not the bass guitarist. Well, I mean, he kind of is, but, he's doing that with his foot pedals. But I guess there was one of their other friends was there attending as well. And, Rich was like, that's another guy. He got the girl too as a bassist. And he was sitting right next to us. So that was pretty cool. But
Nice.
I think that they were probably expecting like this hot evening. So they had everybody on the balcony. But what I think they should have done was have them inside, because then we would have gotten like the full, like we would have heard all the instruments. We would have felt the music. It had that feeling like you went out for dinner and there just happened to be a band on the patio. It felt more like that, which was a little disappointing. So I think I'd rather see them in an indoor venue. I think that they're worth it. I think that they have the talent. But like I said, it was outside, so I feel like it just,
Kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week, performing indoors versus outdoors.
Exactly.
Indoors, you get the reflections and everything. Outdoors, you don't. Sound just keeps going
Yeah.
and going and going.
Yeah, but she couldn't have been nicer. We took a picture together, sent it to you, of course. And yeah, I mean, it was a great night out. No complaints here.
What about the music itself?
Yeah, and so we listened to some of it on the radio on the way down so that we were maybe familiar with a song or two when they played it, which they did. There was two that came up that I was like, wait, we heard this. But I'm a lyrics person. So I need to know what the story is. And I didn't get to catch the story of really any of the songs. So yeah, I need to listen to some of their stuff and then go see them, I think.
One of the ones that I like is Like a Drum. We used it as a theme song for a little while until, Apple and Spotify and YouTube gets mad at us for doing so. Now, we had permission.
Even though you had the rights. Yep.
But still, they don't accept that as an answer. So we just stopped using it just to try to get away from that. But it has a good story. I liked it. It's, about mental challenges. So you're going to beat it like a drum. So I like that. They had another song called Dry, which is about alcohol issues. And that was an early one. That's when they were a full band.
Okay.
So I liked them. Yeah. But what did you think of the overall musicianship of being able to do all that stuff as two people?
I think it's pretty incredible. I always think it's incredible, period, if you can play one instrument and sing. But he has two instruments that he can play, and she's got like about 4 or 5 that she can play. I think one you didn't mention, and maybe it's the same thing as the flute, but the melodica?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I think that's what it was. I was reading like a bio or whatever, maybe Wikipedia about them. They have their own Wikipedia. I was like, wow, you've really made it if you've got your own Wikipedia.
I know. George is in the house tonight, by the way, so say hi to George.
Hi, George.
And George doesn't know this yet, but he said he was going to go ahead and create a Wikipedia page for us. It'll make us feel special.
Oh my gosh, thank you, George.
I know. Thanks, George. We appreciate that.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we should have something like that.
He is our number one. If you don't know who George is, let's just take a moment to recognize George.
Yes.
George is by far our number one fan here. He comes here every week. We appreciate George very much. Thank you, George, for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing your time on socials. Thank you for always being there for us.
I have to add, also, when he connects with us on social, it's genuine question, comment, interest, engagement. And I think the same thing on the show. He's always really adding value to our conversation. So thank you, George. A nod to you tonight.
And then he follows that up with, oh, I forgot. We're saying how great you are, George, and then you tell us you forget about it. So I get it. Oh,
No, he forgot he was going to make the
He's going
Wikipedia
to create
page.
the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
It's all right. Thanks. So.
It's okay. We'll remind you on socials.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just keep reminding you. So I think it's not only impressive that they can play all those instruments and do it all at the same time so it sounds like the band is playing at one time, but I also think it's impressive that she's playing the drums standing up.
Why? Why is that a thing?
Well, she's a singer and wants to be able to project her voice, and she's got a very powerful voice.
Yes.
I mean, a very, very powerful voice. So it's always better as a singer to stand and project that voice. And I'm sure she, as a front person, she's used to being the person standing at the front of the stage. So I'm sure all of that played into this. And I know they had to rig the drum kit in a way that it made it so she could stand.
Is it hard to play the drums standing up?
Well, I'm not a drummer, but I'm assuming it would be. I would assume pressing the kick pedal would be a lot harder standing up than it would be sitting down, because your leg is more relaxed and you can move your foot to the beat from sitting down. If you're standing up, you almost have to be moving your body and putting your whole leg into that pedal. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is that they are so experienced and they've had so much time together that it's a lot of muscle memory probably at this point, where they've played the same songs and, you start to move without thinking almost, So probably a little bit of that plays into it too, and practice and all the things. But very, very talented, super cute that they're still so in love. Is he a little bit older than her?
No, he's starting to look like it, but I wouldn't say too much older. I mean, when I met them, they both were much younger. I mean, it was almost 30 years ago when I first met them.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, think about that. It was almost 30 years ago.
I know.
Isn't
it crazy at our age to start thinking about things like that? Like, I have a shirt from high school, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like 10 years old. Well, it's a little bit older than that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've gone bald. I believe he has gone gray.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think gray probably makes you look a little older than bald.
Yeah.
Especially
I would agree with that.
Bald, you put a hat on, you don't really notice. Gray, it's kind of there at all times.
I think he had like a page boy hat on.
Yeah, that's his style.
Yep. And, women, we get to use hair color. So although she looks like not a day over 40.
No, she's a
Maybe
very pretty
36.
girl.
Yeah. And really nice. Great personality.
And as a bass player, he's a very lucky man.
Yes, he is.
But no, to be fair, he is a guitar player now, and guitar players get all the chicks.
Yeah.
But at heart, he is a bass player.
It's all that finger play.
Yes. All right. We're already there. Left in awful early in the show tonight. I'm sure he is good with his fingers. He's got coordination.
A lot of dexterity, a lot of muscle.
A lot of muscle memory.
A lot of muscle memory. They've been married a long time, so.
Yes, that's the other thing. We didn't mention that, but they are now married. They were not married when I met them. They were just getting to know each other when I met them.
Yeah, and how cool. Like, they're just married, living their best life, just traveling around, playing the music
great
that they
because
love.
they're literally traveling all the time. There's hardly ever a moment they're not on the road.
Yeah.
And they travel out to the West Coast, and they'll do like 20 shows up and down California and every place in between. But when they were in Florida, they were probably doing at least 10 shows.
Yeah, I know of 6.
Yeah. So, I mean, they definitely take advantage of their time on the road. And they've got you want to talk about dedicated fans. We have George, which is all that matters to us. But they have their fan base, they pitch in money for their travels. I mean, everything.
wow.
They're a very smart duo. Their fans sponsor their miles. So
Interesting.
on social media, you'll hear, "Oh, thanks to so and so for sponsoring the last 200 miles." So it's very clever. Their fan base is very strong, a very good, strong group of people. Which, like I said, they had a record deal at one point. They got themselves a record deal and then chose to let it go because there's nothing they can't do on their own.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't need that backing. They're not looking to be the next Taylor Swift style show.
Right.
So they do very well. And as far as the musicianship and the booking, and like she books all the shows. He drives. She's booking shows while they're driving.
Ah, sure. Oh my gosh. Speaking of that, when we were there was this older lady, Dottie. And when they broke, in between their sets or whatever, my friend and I walked up there and I said, "Oh, I want to introduce myself." And she was in the process of talking to this older lady, and this older lady, she grabbed both my friend and I's hand, and she's just talking to us, and her friend is like, hanging her head in shame. And I guess that this lady, Dottie, was booking Melanie a gig as they were just like in the middle of their set. She's like 85 years old or 87. She was older. Said her secret to life was Dewar's Scotch. And yeah, she was just booking a show for Melanie and Rich right there on the spot. Sirsy, I should say.
Sirsy.
Mm-hmm.
S-I-R-S-Y.
Which apparently we cannot spell.
S-I-R-S-Y. George says that he would imagine they'd have to maneuver the drum kit to meet her needs. And they did. They customized the entire thing, including the
And I don't think she's really that tall.
No, I mean, she's average height. I would say she's probably a little taller than you.
I think she's a little bit shorter.
Short? No.
No.
No. Now you're going to make me pull up a photo.
I have her email. I'm going to email her.
That's awesome.
Excuse me. I would like to ask you, how tall are you? It has nothing to do with your music.
It's probably on the Wikipedia page.
It probably is.
Oh, no. She's taller than you by about an inch.
5'6"?
No, I'm just going by the picture.
Oh, that's because I bend down.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. I'm not like standing straight up. Take my picture.
Hey, dear God, you're taller. Okay, I get it. You're taller. Man, short people do really worry about every inch they can get, don't they?
Oh, no, I just love a good argument.
Is that what it is? George, please help me, buddy. All right. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to see what you thought of Sirsy.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely listen to them again. I agree that on the radio, they sound amazing. Or like when I stream them or whatever. She does have a very powerful voice. And, I'm a sucker for a nice, powerful voice. So I would definitely go see them again without a doubt. But I'd want to see them indoors.
And Rich, he records them and produces them. And, she writes the songs. He helps. She writes the lyrics and part of the music. He writes the music. Mm-hmm. But he produces the projects. He engineers the projects. They do it all out of their home. And it's very impressive overall. They run their own website. They run their own merch. Everything.
Wow. I think I'm going to get some of their merch. I felt bad I didn't do it when I was there. And I was
get the thong or...
I was going to.
There was a Sirsy thong.
It's Bikers Week. Hello.
It is Bikers Week to be wearing a thong.
Nothing wrong with a whale tail hanging out while you're in Bikers Week, okay?
Oh boy, it's too early in the night to be going so far left.
Okay, well let's bring it back over. I'm going to share some news with you, okay?
Thank
Are you ready?
Yes.
Lay it on you. Okay. Do you know how old the Grand Ole Opry is this year?
26.
100. The Grand Ole Opry is turning 100 this year.
226.
I already gave you the answer.
Oh. So 100 was my final answer?
Well, I'm telling you, you didn't guess 100 at all. So I'm just telling you it's
100.
That's a final answer. 100. So, yes. So I thought that was interesting. They are planning to do like all kinds of stuff throughout the year to commemorate that and celebrate it. So lots of people will be in. They're going to play a lot of music. Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of music, okay, I'm going to read this little blurb. Country music legend Randy Travis announced at the Grand Ole Opry. That's going to be 100 years old this year. Oh,
George
was
100.
right.
Caden says 100.
Oh, hey, Caden. Caden from last week.
Says,
Great to have you here.
Don't believe me.
Don't believe you. I believe the internet news instead.
Which I don't know if we can believe that either, but hey.
I don't think so. So he announced that at the Grand Ole Opry that his life will be turned into a biopic titled Forever and Ever Amen. Fellow country star Clay Walker will portray Travis in his later years, while the actor of his younger life has yet to be announced. This film is based on Travis's 2020 memoir and is currently in production. Travis, who suffered a near-fatal stroke in 2013, which I know we've talked about before, has continued touring and extended his More Life tour into 2025. Though the country legend won't sing in the shows due to his stroke, he and his wife, Mary Davis, will be on stage and interact with fans while vocalist James Dupree performs with Travis's original touring band. So he just hangs out on the side and sees all of his loving and adoring fans. And then, like I said, I never heard of this, a biopic. So a biography picture. I think that's what that's.
Biopic.
Combined, smashed together. Yes. So I know we talked about that. He's using AI to reproduce his voice and cut albums. And so he's going to go on tour. And
now, how do you feel about using AI to recreate a voice like that?
I mean, I don't want to say I don't like it, but I feel like I don't like it. I want to see the person on stage. I want to see them holding the microphone and dancing and connecting with the fans, which I know like he can't help it that he has this injury. So then I guess the other side of that argument is they're still a valuable person. So you don't count them out just because they can't hold the microphone and interact with the people.
In a case like this, I think it's good. It allows him to connect with his fans and, having other musicians up there singing songs and stuff. I think that's a good thing, especially for him. He deserves it at this point in his career.
And I can't remember if it was Trey Walker or James Dupree, but I think, did I say Trey Walker? I meant Clay Walker. I think that it's Clay Walker, that they've been family friends for a long time. So this is not something really just like out of the blue. They have a connection, so should turn out pretty good, I would think.
Clay Walker was here in town just a little while ago, and Jason Hale was there with Kyle Fields. They were opening up, so I got to go to that show.
Oh, that's nice. When was that?
It was about 6 months to a year ago.
Oh, okay. I thought it was during the show because we've only been doing this since January, and I was like, dude, you went and saw cool music and didn't tell me about it? Because we've established we're friends.
Did we ever decide if that was going to be the case? We said we would ride out the rest of that episode. I don't remember making the decision. George, Caden, is Tiffany a friend?
Yes. We don't even
need to ask.
No.
I think a little confirmation would make me feel a little bit better.
When a woman states something, it's facts now.
Trust me, I'm married. I know how that works.
Okay. Well, speaking of being married, Cole Swindell and his wife Courtney are announced that they are expecting their first child. They posted the test and a sonogram, and this is immediately making me think of
that his life is over.
No,
life as he knows it will now be over.
No, it's going to be amazing. But somebody I know took a pregnancy test, and they were telling their family that they were pregnant, and so they put the test in the cake, and then people cut into the cake. And they were like, "Is that the actual test you took?" And the mom was like, "Yeah." And then they were like, "But you didn't like wrap it up or anything?" Yes. So I think that they just discarded that piece of cake. But if it was me, I'd have a hard time with the whole cake then.
Caden says you're all right.
Am I?
Yeah,
I passed the bill.
At least,
Oh, he's saying
at least he
I'm
recognizes
right.
that you're always right.
Right. He's not saying I'm all right or he's saying that
I
I'm
was adding
always
the
right.
you're all right part. I figure if he's siding with you, then he probably thinks you're all right.
Yeah. True. Okay.
True statement.
Fair enough. True story. True story. Okay. Do you remember? Oh my gosh, the Super Bowl, and we got to watch Kendrick Lamar and SZA sing together. Well,
What
their
is this
collaboration.
thing you call the Super Bowl?
They take a football and they throw it around. I don't know. Americans get really crazy about it. Anyway, they collaborated and produced a song called Luther, and it has reached the #1 spot in the Billboard Hot 100 for the week of March 1st. So it's slightly old news because March 1st, but so I thought that was interesting. Not too far after Super Bowl.
Hold on. George says, yes, she's my best friend when I'm in this chair. I take a little bit of offense to that, but I understand.
Beauty over brains, Jay.
Is that what this relationship's about?
Yeah, George is siding with me. You got to side with the cute chick on TV.
Is that
Hello,
what it is? No,
computer
I
screen.
don't blame him.
Yeah. Okay, and we talked about CMAs being canceled.
Very, very disappointed about the CMAs being canceled.
I know, me too. I would be way more interested in that than what we got. But iHeartRadio Music Awards are going to take place in the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles on March 17th. And you can catch it on Fox. And it's going to be hosted by LL Cool J and, drum roll please.
Wait.
Okay.
I'll give you a drum roll. I don't know which one it is.
I'm Donald Trump.
It's not that one. I'm fired. I'm fired. That's all. It's not you tonight, Tiffany. It's me. Sorry.
Jay Franzi, you're fired. Are you going to play it? No? Okay, I thought you were going to play it.
No, I mean, I would. Without looking, I don't know which one it is. This is too much effort. This is too much.
So much stress. Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour is going to be honored with Tour of the Century.
Yeah. You know
A
what?
round of
She deserves
applause.
it.
Right?
Now you want applause too? Applause. Hey, look at that.
You get a gold star, Jay.
Nobody wants to hear these sound effects anymore.
Oh,
wait.
yes.
We've got news.
Yeah.
We've got news fresh off the wire. Caden says that I'm his best friend, so that kind of outweighs things. See? It
You have
evens things
history.
out.
It evens things out. It doesn't outweigh anything, but it evens it out.
It evens it out.
Now we both have a best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got George, you got Kaden in your court. Well, that's all I have for interesting news. I am very excited. They listed a whole bunch of artists that are going to be performing for the iHeartRadio Music Awards. And it was a lot of people I would like to see, actually. So I might tune into it. Might actually give it a shot because, okay, I'm foolish to think that it hasn't gotten political yet, but it doesn't feel political yet.
It will. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
right? Give it a couple more years.
Before we leave the topic of news, can we just briefly discuss Carrie Underwood's American Idol debut?
Yes. Oh, God, did I love it.
So you're a fan?
I'm in for this season. I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I did.
Yes.
I liked seeing her personality come out. I liked seeing her get up and sing with contestants and stuff.
I loved seeing that she really is Jukebox Carrie.
Yeah.
She could sing along to every single song that came on, even like the really hard rock. I was like, oh my gosh, a side of Carrie I never knew existed. So that was cool. And then seeing her with that little boy, that was super sweet. And even Luke Bryan with the little boy.
Yeah, no, it was a great job. They did good. I really appreciate it.
And I thought it was really cool how Lionel Richie pulled up Patti LaBelle to sing with that lady. And then she got to go sing the national anthem. And I need to read up on what these platinum passes are because I don't remember them from the past. But she went out, she sang the national anthem, and then they gave her a platinum pass. And then they said in this next episode, they're going to do it again. And I was like, What? Okay.
He just got her to the front of the line.
Right.
At
That's what I'm
Disney.
thinking.
Yeah.
At Disney.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she gets to meet
George
Mickey.
says she cried. He didn't think she would.
She was soft like I thought she would be. I don't remember her saying no to anybody.
Huh.
I remember her wavering on a couple, and then I know I sent you a couple of people that I was so impressed with. Oh, so impressed with.
Yeah, one of them was the guy that made her cry.
The
guy that sang about his teacher's son that has passed.
Yeah. I was almost crying before they showed anybody else crying. And I was like, oh, this kid's the real deal. Because I was already getting choked up. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Traces of You, something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
That's exactly it. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
folks. Let's do it.
Made
Let's
an
move
impact.
on. Unless you got more to say. Did you have more to say? I don't want to cut you off.
Nope. Oh, I will. Well, I'll throw this in
You
there.
already said no.
I know. I take it back.
Okay.
So we were sitting there on the couch and my husband ended up watching it with me. And he has a thing for big lips, right? And I was like, I don't know. She got a lot of filler in those lips. And he didn't really say anything. And I was like, oh, you like those full lips. But I thought it was just a little bit too much. You're a big fan of the full lips too?
No.
No.
Not at all. I don't understand why people do that to themselves.
Yeah, it's just a little too much. And I think the problem is you do a little bit and it's like, oh, they look inflated again or they look normal again or whatever. And then the next time the person talks into just a little bit more and a little bit more. I have a friend right now and she's gone a little too far. You know, there's something about aging gracefully. Yeah. And you can tell when she gets her lips filled, like, oh, you just went and did that. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Moving on to the question of the day.
All right.
If you are out there, if you're still with us, if you're hanging on, if you'd like to put some comments in there, we would love to read them off. Question of the day. Name a musician that you wish was still alive.
I like the caveat that you would watch them on hologram. Who do you want to see on hologram? I think it's our science center nearby. They're doing a Michael Jackson hologram. And I'm like, really? People are going to go pay money to see this hologram of this person? But I guess it's
I'd rather
just
go
as
see
silly
his
as...
monkey.
Yeah, I think it's just as silly
That
as...
sounded a little wrong. His chimp, whatever the hell he had. Bubbles. I want to see Bubbles. Oh, I think there was a stripper named Bubbles.
Well, with whatever he had going on in his house, he might have had the Bubbles there.
He may have had Bubbles.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. To me, being from Boston, the band Boston, with the singer Brad Delp. Not only was he amazing in that band, he had one of the most unique and best voices, I think, in rock music.
Okay. Well, I wrote down Karen Carpenter. You know that I just bought her record, and she is clocked as one of the purest voices in history, and I believe that, and I like her music, and so I would like to hear her again.
Fair
Not
enough.
on hologram, though, because
Not hologram. No, see, this
her brother
is
would
bringing a
be there
musician
and-
back, not as a hologram. Like somebody, if they like alive for one more day, that you can go see them play. And we can say live in their prime. It's fine. You know, I don't want to see Elvis
I mean,
when
Karen
he's
Carpenter
bloated
might
on
be a
the
little bit of a
toilet.
dud.
All right.
Might be a little lackluster.
George says, "How about Buddy Holly?"
I thought about that too.
That would be
I
fair.
thought about that
Fair
too.
enough. That was
I think all those
little
guys,
before my
because
time.
yes, before my time. It's kind of like I say though, like I feel like I've said this maybe as a broken record, but you know, just missing the time when there were like fan crazes. You know, like you just
You didn't miss
the-
it. You got
the-
Taylor Swift right now.
I know. That's what you always say too. We're broken records. But I do think that there's something to be said for that. Like, you know, like it wasn't as easy to travel and everything wasn't as accessible as it is now. And it was so much more of a treat. And, you know, just all the things. So I was thinking about those guys because I love that movie, La Bamba.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Christina says she agrees with Brad Delp. Wendy also agrees with Brad Delp. There you go.
Are they from Boston as well,
fans.
these ladies?
I don't know.
We need to know where you guys
Christina,
are from. Come on, girls.
Wendy, chime in, let us know. All right, I think it's Millie, Milli.
Yeah.
Millie. She says Janie Lane.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for the blankness to go over your face right now. The band Warrant.
I've heard of it.
I remember when I was in Orlando, Janie Lane lived in Orlando, and they would perform in the street festivals in Orlando.
How cool.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
you got to live a little bit of that, like with your little Matchbox 20 thing. And
They were also Orlando. Now, that's one of the most unique voices there is Rob Thomas.
I know you kind of wanted to duel it out last
I
time.
know. I'm saying he really does have
I
a
was
unique
thinking it's not a singer, but we could add Trump to that.
voice. That trumped what?
Our most distinctive voices list.
I don't know. Let's see. Trump, where are you, Trump? I'm pressing buttons. Nothing's happening.
Guess.
Tiffany, you're fired.
Yeah, it's fairly unique.
I think that you hear it anywhere.
I think it's the cadence of his voice that makes him unique.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like to watch people speak, and he's a person I like to watch speak.
He's very animated.
It's like his little mouth and like how his teeth move or something. His teeth don't move, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
His little mouth.
How his mouth
His
moves
little
maybe when he
hands.
speaks.
He forgave Little Hand Guy. Anyways, we're not a political show. We're not picking sides. We just
No,
pointing
we're
out
just here
observations.
for the fun. But if you do
And if you want
have
us to pick
anything,
sides, by all means,
any
we
hate
will.
mail, just
Send
send
it
that
to
to jay@jfrancy.com.
jfrancy.com. There you go. Tony says Randy Rhoads. That is a good one. Do you know Randy Rhoads? You're going to say no, huh? You really do deserve
Tiffany.
to be fired.
You're fired.
Thank you, AI Trump. Since Tiffany gets fired so often, I think Jay needs to be my best friend. Thank you,
No,
George.
George, we're already breaking up. I've already lost my friendship cred.
I just want to point out, though, I wasn't first. So
Yeah.
I do like to be first.
Wait, who is that person?
Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads was the guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh.
He was the one that did Crazy Train. Blizzard of Oz was the name of the album.
Oh, funny.
He was very, very young and very, very talented and died way too soon. I believe it was in a plane or a helicopter crash. I don't know. I don't know which one. But it was
Sad.
unfortunate nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay, well, next on my list was Toby Keith. I know he passed recently, but I was a really big fan of all of his patriotic music. Not to be political, but we do have a lot of freedoms. And it's because of everybody who had somebody in their family that went and was braver than I am to fight for my freedoms. And I appreciate that very much. And so I wish that he was still making that patriotic music. And I think he did a lot for the troops and kept their spirits up and just all kinds of things for veterans. And I just think he was a good advocate for America.
No, I never met him. Bob did one of his projects, but I never met him. It was before my time. But I hear he was nothing but a nice guy.
Yep. So it's too bad. I would like to hear him keep making music. It makes me think of, living in your radio. How do you like me now?
Yeah.
And he's only in our radio now. And I wish he was around making music still.
Yeah, he made it right up to his last day, too. Anyways, Doug says Ronnie James Dio. Now, to be fair, he just said Dio. But Ronnie James.
You filled in all the blanks.
Ronnie James Dio. So, what are your thoughts on Ronnie James Dio? You didn't do your homework, did you? We brought him up once before. You were supposed to go back and research him.
Randy Deal.
He's starting to write stuff down. Oh,
on
there you
it.
go, George. Conway Twitty.
Oh, my dad was a big fan of Conway Twitty. Well, I did how did that come up? Oh, it was from the episode that's coming out tomorrow for Memories with a Bee. We went and saw some music and we reviewed it, and Sinead O'Connor was on there, and she passed away in 2023, so not too long ago. I was actually shocked to hear that, but I liked her music. I'd take more of it.
Would you? She was never
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Part of it is she went political.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a fan when people go political unless that's specifically what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that. I know. Come and sing because that's what we paid money for, and we didn't really come to hear your political.
I mean, again, I don't mind it if that's the angle you're taking, if that's your approach, but like you two, that was their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the people that I think of are, right, like from 90s kind of. So that puts her right there. That's the music that stands out to me, or that I, remember connecting with or whatever, is because that's what life was then. You were more carefree and just kind of paying attention to your music and stuff. So I also heard yesterday the Cranberries' Zombie, and I was like, oh God, I just love when a voice, like, it doesn't crack, but it's like folk-ish. I love that so much.
It's
So,
another
I think that's-
song that gets covered a lot.
Yeah, it does. And I usually tend to like the renditions.
Susan says Elvis.
Yeah. I would really have liked to, because I think that he was putting out a lot of great music. He had a good following. He was good looking. He had the it factor, like they say on American Idol. And so I think I would have enjoyed all of his stuff. I don't know, from costumes to showmanship to actual voice talent. What do you think? Would
George-
you like to see Elvis?
George says, yes, we need Elvis. I would like to see Elvis, but I would like to see him in his prime, obviously.
Yeah.
I know that, again, before my time, barely, but before my time, I remember growing up going to my grandparents' house, and they had Elvis 8-tracks and stuff at the house, or albums. And so I know they were big fans, even though I never once heard them play anything, but they were big fans. I would go for some Elvis.
Yeah, I think I would too. I also had Whitney Houston on here.
That I could do
Again.
without.
Jay.
No, I'll give her all the credit in the world. She's one of the most talented singers ever, but I am not a fan.
No. Did you see her movie?
Which one, Bodyguard?
No. There was a Whitney movie, like, I don't know, maybe in the last 5 years, that was kind of documenting her. I guess it was a biopic, as we're saying now.
It's like you're a little late to the game, but it's okay. It happens.
As the kids
The
say.
young kids say. As the young
Biopic.
40-something say.
But yeah,
I swear I
liked all
cannot
of
find
her.
where I was on this list. I'm going to be leaving a whole lot of people out tonight, and I'm just going to say sorry. Just sorry in advance.
Are they coming in fast and furious?
It just went too fast, and I passed it. I'm sorry. Sorry for anyone.
Jay Francie, you're fired.
Yeah, I wish I could tonight. All right. How about Lemmy? Joe says Lemmy.
I don't know, Lemmy.
I think Lemmy Kilmister, I think it is. He was the singer from Motorhead.
Oh.
Think of Motorhead as your bike week. It would probably
Got
be an
it.
artist you would see at your bike week for sure.
Got it. It was funny. She, I don't think I said who I wanted to go see. And she was like, are we going to go see like Marilyn Manson or somebody crazy like that? And she's like, I still would have been in. And I was like, no, Nobody, no, I don't rock that hard.
No, I saw Marilyn. I don't consider him rock really, but I saw him because he opened up for Five Finger Death Punch, and he was better than I expected him to be, but still not my thing.
Yeah. I don't think he would be my thing.
Maybe. Brian says Ronnie James. I'm assuming he means Ronnie James Dio as well. See, let's get the full names. They worked hard for those names. No, they didn't. But yes, Brian says Ronnie James Dio. Neil says Phil Lynott. We need Google now. I don't know who that is.
Phil Lynott.
Lynott. A lot of people saying Dio. Dio.
Irish musician, songwriter, and poet. Co-founder, lead vocalist, bassist, primary songwriter for the hard rock band Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy. Okay, there you go. Scott says Jerry Lee Lewis. Did you like Jerry Lee Lewis?
I don't know enough. Before my time.
It's before both of our times. How do you not know who Jerry Lee Lewis is?
It's like on a lot of
Great
things.
Balls
like
of Fire.
Oh, okay. I like that song. I was going to say, if you can give me a song, I can usually tell you if I like them or not. But just on their own, I don't know why. It's not something that sticks. Lyrics stick with me, and I don't know, songs, but not.
He was before my time, but I did get a chance to work on one of his projects, but obviously he was not around. This was a remaster.
How did you get that? I want you to tell me more about that.
I was working for a producer in Nashville, a guy named Richard Pittman. And Richard Pittman, he knew of this rumor that there might be some recordings stored in a barn in Pennsylvania. So he spent several years trying to find out if it was true. And one day he was at a gas station in Pennsylvania, and he talked to somebody, and he mentioned the rumor, and they said that it was true, and they knew who it was. So they took him, and he found thousands of old recordings in this barn that had been there for years. So think heat, summer, winter, over and over again for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And then
in metal tins.
he convinced the now owner, which is the family of this engineer, to sell him those recordings. So they didn't do it at first. A year or two later, they called him and made him an offer. Richard accepted it, purchased the tapes. And what happened was it took a couple pickup trucks to haul out those recordings. So that's how many tapes there were. I mean, there were thousands of them. And Richard hired me to go in and master all of those recordings. So there were a lot of very old live performances. So Dolly Parton, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, so on.
How cool.
So and it was a big deal. They did a huge write-up in the Boston Globe, and I got to go on a radio tour around the country talking about it. It was very fun. And Richard made a deal with the Hall of Fame to donate those recordings. And at one point, because the project wasn't finished yet being mastered, because it was thousands of tapes, that they wanted to put me in one of the glass rooms and use me as an exhibit as I finished mastering those recordings, that you could watch me do it through the glass. But it never went through. We never closed the deal on that.
Wow. How cool is that?
So there you go.
What did they do with them after you remastered them?
I didn't keep up with it. My understanding was they were going to turn them all into digital recordings, put them out, as singles. But I don't know if they ever did. A lot of those recordings were hard to recover, period, because tape, when it gets hot, it sticks together.
Yeah.
So we had to bake tape. We had to buy a special tape machine that was the tape machine that they used at that time. So myself and my assistants, I had two assistants that helped me with the project, and we went through and logged them, tried to bake them, get them to work again, constantly cleaning the tape machines. And it was a big, big deal for a while.
How long did that take?
A lot of my time. It took a few years, and luckily, if you want to talk about timing, Not lucky for my mother. My mother was very sick. I was working in Nashville. My mother needed a double lung transplant, so she needed somebody to go home and take care of her while she was waiting for that transplant to come through.
Yeah.
So I went home to Boston to take care of my mother. That's when we got those tapes. So those tapes held us through that entire time. And that's also when I got to record the Alison Piccioni, now Rocky Rose, her record. So those two projects, one fun production project and then one extremely long, tedious transfer and mastering project.
Yeah.
But it kept us busy while I was in Boston taking care of my mother. So I cannot thank Richard enough for landing that project when he did.
Wow. That's really cool, Jay.
Very cool.
Well, I had Janis Joplin. That's another person. I would love to see her in person. I bet she was amazing on stage. And it was like a very, like an unpoliced concert-ish kind of time. So kind of the Wild West, it wasn't really...
Powerful voice, too, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and I love how raspy it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would have been there in a heartbeat. I would have driven. I would have drove in there.
You would have driven there. Oh, I love you so much. Let's move on. We get any more news?
Yes. So there's quite a bit going on with the Academy Awards. They took place on March 2nd. Also in the Dolby Theater, in Los Angeles.
Popular place.
Yeah. Hosted by Conan O'Brien. And the film Anora, which I do not know Anora, emerged as the big night's winner, securing 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Actress for Mikey Madison, and awards for Best Director, Film Editing, and Original Screenplay for Sean Baker.
All right, let's talk about a couple things there real quick.
Okay.
One, Conan O'Brien, comedian from Boston. And what I think is a very talented comedian, very clever, very funny. What are your thoughts about Conan? Do you like him?
Jay, I stay up late only on Wednesday nights with you. And Conan O'Brien became popular, whatever, got his show or whatever, after I had kids. So I had little kids at the time. So they went to bed. I went to bed. I'm not a late night girl. So I don't know much. I don't even know if I've really seen very many commercials or anything of him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a podcast too. I mean, he's worth checking out. I mean,
okay.
Very, very clever, very nice guy. He was a writer for Saturday Night Live for years. That's how he got his start. So
I didn't know that.
I'm sure you know a lot of his humor. It's been a big part of Saturday Night Live. He went on to host his own show. Obviously got involved in the late night wars.
Yeah.
And he's gone on to do other talk shows, other late night shows, and has his podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
I will check that out. I'm a big fan of laughing, so
Yeah.
I'd be happy to check that out.
Very cool. Very good guy, but very funny. So anyways, I just mentioned that. And then the event itself got a bad rap for nobody recognizing any of the movies or things that were in it.
That's what happens when politics get involved.
That's what happens when bodies start slapping. Go ahead.
That's what happens when people start digging into their deep pockets.
All right.
Pay things off. So, yeah. March 13th, tomorrow, we are finally having astronauts go up and save our people. So it says there will be a rescue mission from the Kennedy Space Center here in Florida. The mission will help bring back NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore after they got stranded in space due to a technical issue with Boeing Starliner. So I know Elon Musk's ship is what's going, our spaceship, I should say. I don't know, some reason it is spaceship, but when I said just ship, it felt like a boat. So anyways, his spaceship is going to go up and they're going to finally rescue them. And I can't imagine what that does to your body being in zero gravity for that long. I mean,
how long has it been? What was the total time?
I don't know.
Tiffany, you're fired. Goodbye.
It's been months. Let's see when they got stranded.
All right. George says 9 months. You don't have to look it up anymore.
Oh, God.
9 months, long time.
It's been a long time. I remember they were going to try to rescue them shortly after. And I think weather played into it. And so they had to cancel it. And then it got pushed off a long way. Okay. I am really excited to talk about this next story. Do you remember
I'm
the
afraid.
Octomom?
Yes, you know what? I do remember that. Dear God, don't tell me there's any more.
So I'm going to give you the backstory. In 2009, the world was introduced to Nadia Suleman, a single mom of 6 who gave birth to 8 living children at one time via in vitro fertilization. The public fascination in the woman dubbed Octomom quickly became vicious and judgmental.
I just want to say Octomon, that sounds like a superhero type character.
A villain? Octomom.
Okay, sorry. Octomom.
Okay. Octomom. Okay, so Suleman had no job and relied on the government assistance, so she was declared irresponsible, unfit to raise 14 kids. She did capitalize on the attention with her book deal, tabloid deals, and paid TV appearances, but within a few years, she'd declared bankruptcy, turned to pornography to earn money, and was accused of welfare fraud by the state of California. A new 6-part series called Confessions of Octomom looks back at that turbulent time and how Suleman and her 14 kids made it through. It debuts Wednesday on Lifetime and streams on Hulu Live.
14 kids.
All by yourself?
No.
No. And she got 8 from in vitro, and I didn't think that they would let 8 viable births go like that. I thought that they would like selectively remove an egg or whatever, fertilized egg.
I don't know. Seems like,
Yeah.
wait, I mean, I have 3 kids. 3
Right.
kids, and I have to take every day one at a time. I can't imagine having 14 kids.
I know. I have 3 kids, and the 2 older boys are off doing their own thing, living their life, and I can barely keep up with 1 kid in 2 sports. I mean, and those kids, no opportunity. Like, I don't know. She's playing into the stereotype, unfortunately. So it'll be interesting to see Confessions of an
Good for
Octomom.
her to land a show and pay for the kids.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. And how did she take? I mean, I guess she used the other 6 kids to help her with the 8 new kids. I don't know. Ugh. That's a house I don't want to live in.
It's not the house that was built. What's that song? The house that something built?
The house that built me.
The house that built me. It's the house that built my baseball team.
Right? Okay.
We'll pass on
Yes.
the Octomom program.
Oh, George is going to pass.
Too much
Like, not
time
even
for
give it
me.
ratings. Yeah, I don't know if I'll catch it live, but I'm probably going to watch it. That's the kind of crap TV I watch.
Nice.
It reminds you life is good. Okay, March 9th, a couple days ago, All Elite Wrestling AEW held its annual pay-per-view event, Revolution, at the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles. Everything's in Los Angeles, cheapers. The main event featured, you guys, please don't get mad at me if I butcher these names, Jon Moxley successfully defending his AEW World Championship in a 3-way match against Cope and Christian Cage. Do you know anything about wrestling?
No.
No.
Not a thing.
So I wonder if Cope and Christian are on the same team because maybe they fought them separately. Who knows? Well, I thought it was interesting because my dad was always into WWE wrestling. And so it kind of caught my eye. And I know that a couple of years ago, probably 6 years ago, was the last time I went to a paid boxing match. So it kind of made me think of those 2 events that whatever. So
UFC. I like the UFC.
yes, that was the paid one that I watched. Yep, was UFC. What do you like about UFC?
Well, it's been a long time, but I've been watching it since the very beginning. Dana White, another Bostonian, by the way. Throw that out there whenever I can. But I've had a chance to meet a lot of them through the years. My brother's good friends with a lot of the people from UFC. When Frank Mir was the heavyweight champion of the world, I got to meet him. I just appreciate their talent, like everything else. Boxing is good. karate's good, kickboxing's good, wrestling good, but when you put it all together, I think it's just more fun for us to watch it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I used to like watching WWE with my dad until somebody, whatever, probably some kid at school, told me that it was all like acted out. And I was like, wait, what? And that's when the illusion died for me.
That's what I don't like about that. Mm-hmm. But I had a good friend of mine growing up who still loves it to this day. I just don't get it.
There is actually a following for it. Like, do you listen to a million podcasts? Because I listen to a million podcasts. And then you have to try to remember what you were listening to.
It is sad at this point, but I have long commutes, so I listen to podcasts all day long. All day. I run out of them sometimes.
Oh, gosh. I have decided I'm putting my stake in the sand. I'm going to be more disciplined. I follow like 20 shows, but I only listen to like, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them. And so I have it now where I'm going to test myself or commit myself to the insane asylum.
You do need to be committed.
But I'm going to listen to the episodes as they come up in queue. I'm not going to like choose what show I'm going to watch or listen to.
I could not do that.
So I'm going to have some serious self-discipline. I only follow, like I said, like 20, 25 shows maybe. So I feel like
at this point.
Oh, I definitely have a disciplined amount. I go through from time to time and I clean it up and I'm like, okay, I'm not really listening to this one. Or sometimes I meet someone. Usually what I honestly do is I follow the show so I don't forget and it'll just pop up in my queue. But if I don't like it, then I unfollow. So I've got them in there. And I genuinely, I like listening to my entertainment podcasts a lot. And my ones to like learn and be a better person and be a better business person. I'm like, So I'm disciplining myself to get to the
really want to get better.
Fun ones. I got to listen to the other ones. I do want to. So this will force me if I don't jump around, get up, jump around.
I used to listen to all the business one and the self-improvement ones first. I was into those first, but I think after a while they all start sounding the same.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what happened with me as well. So I've found a few podcasts that are just sheer entertainment, including the Jay Francie Show.
Not including, that better be at the top, is what I'm saying.
I mean, now you're in full rotation. Okay, sorry, bro.
I've got them all broken down into categories, but my podcast about podcasting category is probably got 20-something shows in it by itself. It's ridiculous.
What app do you use to listen to podcasts that you can sort them?
I use just the Apple app. I've tried a couple others. I have probably a ton of them on my...
What?
I've got a ton of apps on my phone.
Categories?
Oh, yeah. I sort them all the time. I've got podcasts about podcasting. I've got entertainment. I've got music.
You saying, oh, yeah, I sort them all the time. It sounds like you're just like, okay, it's time to sort my podcast again.
Yeah, fine. Yes, I'm a very anal and organized person. I hear it from my wife. I'll hear it from you. I am anal. I got it. Not that I prefer anal or anything. I am.
Jay, I was laughing trying to disguise where I was trying to take a left turn. I had my blinker on. I was trying to take left, but your car was there.
No, I heard it all day long, and people bust on me about it at work today, too.
Well, that's probably what makes you an amazing engineer, though.
Well, I'll take the compliment, but yeah, I think organization is definitely a big plus when it comes to engineering and production and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to file management and all the fun things.
We should talk. I'm not very good at file management.
Unfortunately, I'm very good. Very anal. Be anal again.
Okay, guys, if you have a cocktail, every time you heard the word anal. Take a sip.
That would be so wrong. What kind of drinking game is that?
Take a swig from your token hole.
Token hole or your smoking hole? I said glory hole last week, and I got comments about it. The mail came in, folks. What do you mean, glory hole? I'm like, it was Saturday Night Live. People were talking about the smoking hole and the token hole.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, they were talking about holes. Well, speaking of
holes.
This is not really speaking of holes, but I was trying to make a cool segue, but there's no cool segue.
Whoever it is, they're bound to have holes.
Well, it's scientists, and they have discovered a new part of the immune system that researchers have identified a previously unknown component of the immune system, potentially leading to advancements in medical treatments, which I thought was good because, you know,
Thanks,
George says right now I'm his favorite. It makes sense.
That's just because
It makes sense. I don't know why you tried to go back on it, though, George. That's not cool. So I'm excited about that.
Medical
that's
treatments,
great.
advancement in medical treatments would be very good. I would really appreciate it right now. That would be very helpful.
In allergy medicine.
Well, for me, yeah. I was thinking more for my
Yes.
daughter, but for me, I'm like,
Yes. Joe has.
I feel like I need to sneeze.
Jay has a case of the
just call me
sniffles because.
Joe?
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. Joe.
Tiffany.
Jay,
you're
aka
fired.
Joe. Has allergies attacking him. So he is making beautiful elephant sounds. Although he's smart enough to hit the mute button, he's not making you guys listen to it like I did when I was not on my A game.
Like my
Apparently I didn't know
eyes
how to
are
use
wide.
the
I feel
mute
like I'm
button.
crying. Tiffany, you
Stop
keep making me
crying,
cry
Jay.
right now.
It's a beautiful show. You don't have to cry about it, though.
It makes me happy. They're happy tears. I walked in my office today and I had tissues, and someone says to me, "What's with the tissues?" I said, "Don't worry, they're happy tissues."
No.
What movie was it? George, help me out. What movie was it where
Happy
it said, "Are those happy tissues or sad tissues?" Tell us your next story and I'll Google it.
Well, my next story is actually what I was doing before I came on the podcast. So we have the TPC
Forgetting Sarah Marshall
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
with Average
It's not-
Joe.
Ah,
He was
okay.
the singer in the hotel lounge.
Okay. So do you know, actually, fun fact to know and tell. When you cannot recall something, you have all these little neurons that go through all the files in your brain, and they're just looking, and they're looking. And so you go on to like making dinner, driving home from work, whatever you're doing, playing with your kids. And then, you know, like 2:00 in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you're like, oh my gosh, Saving Sarah Marshall. Because your brain has been working that entire time to find that answer, like in the background. You know, like when you have screens that you can't see on your computer screen, but they're still working in the background. It's like that. So your little neurons are...
You are very informative this evening. Thank you.
Call me Dr. Tiffany from now on.
This
Actually,
show
call
has
me
now
Dr.
become a
Mason.
medical show. Last week it was culinary, and what else did we do last week? Oh, purses.
Handbags.
Yes.
Jay shared his infinity for leather bags, for leather purses.
It doesn't have to be leather, but
Quality.
quality.
You said quality. Quality bags. Anyways, where you could bring a quality bag would be the TPC, because it's where all the golfers are going to be for this next week until Sunday. And I guess that they stay there playing, even if it like gets delayed into Monday. I guess it's not like 100% for sure done on Sunday, but if there's rain or slow play, they'll go into Monday. Anyway.
Slow play.
And so slow play. So they invited the Florida Coffee Peddler out to serve their volunteers.
No.
So
What is this Florida Coffee Peddler? What is this?
that is one of our little side hustles. We serve the great folks of the Jacksonville area some pretty stellar coffee, and they asked us to come out and serve their volunteers. So it's a foot in the door and show what we got and what we can do, and maybe we'll be on the course next year. Who knows?
Can I tell you a little story about coffee?
Little ditty
Quick
about
little
Jack and Diane.
story that means absolutely nothing. But I've never been a coffee fan. Never liked it.
Okay.
My parents loved it. I have never liked the taste of coffee or tea,
Okay.
but coffee in this instance.
I'm going to interrupt you. So ever since I got sick like 2 weeks ago, I feel like I don't like coffee.
Well, that's
Everything
probably
else-
not good for business.
I know everything else is fine. Everything else tastes fine. But for some reason, I make a cup of coffee every morning and I'm like, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know what's going on. I'm very sad about it because I've always been a coffee lover. Please continue.
I have not. Never been a coffee lover. Probably
Okay.
never will be. But my daughter, my eldest daughter, 14, about to turn 15, she has introduced me to this thing they call the McDonald's app. And she likes the coffee. So,
Yes.
But the McDonald's app, I have gotten used to using it because I'm a sucker for being gamified on my phone.
Yes.
And McDonald's knows what they're doing. They're playing games with me, and they're making me keep going back to that stupid app. But I wanted a milkshake the other day. So I was at McDonald's, and I ordered my thing, and I said, I'm going to see if I have, some sort of reward points and
Rewards,
get this
yeah.
milkshake. And no, you can't get a milkshake with your rewards point, which is dumb. If I have rewards points, I should be able to use them on whatever I want.
Yes.
Take
agreed.
a certain amount of points away from me, I get it. But no.
Yeah.
But they did have the frappes on there.
Okay.
So I decided to get one. I was very hesitant, but I decided to get one. And
Are we having coffee talk?
a coffee talk. Usually conversation over coffee, but this is conversation about coffee.
Yes.
However, I tried it. It wasn't bad. It's still not my favorite thing in the world, but it was tolerable. And I ended up getting one the next time I went to McDonald's as well because I wanted the milkshake again, and of course can't do it, so I got the frappe. Tastes enough like a milkshake that I was okay with it, even though it was coffee flavored. Yeah. But still.
I think it's really funny when people come to the cart and the coffee peddler, and they say, I want a latte, but I want it really sweet because I don't like the taste of coffee. What? Or I have people come up. So normally I put 3 pumps of syrup in a drink, and somebody said, oh, I don't like my coffee very sweet. And I said, okay, well, I normally do 3 pumps. Is that okay? And they said, oh yeah. And then they said, do you have any regular sugar too? And I was like, I do. And they said, okay, yeah, I'll take some regular sugar too. And I said, okay, how many would you like? And they added
26.
4 packs. And I was like,
You don't like it very sweet. Just on the borderline of very.
So you want to get diabetes today?
It's in my future. I'm just throwing that there.
Well, yeah, if you're eating drawers full of Kit Kats and Twizzlers and
Don't
Sour
bring that up.
Patch
I
Kids.
ate a whole handful of Kit Kats today. I
I'm
looked through
proud
that
of
drawer
you.
and I was picking out Kit Kats. All right,
Living
move
your
on to
best
your
life.
stories. Leave me alone with my. George says he likes his
Okay.
coffee black.
I do too. If I drink coffee at the house, I always have black coffee. If I'm at Coffee Peddler serving people, I do mix it up. I do all kinds of concoctions, and I love them all. And I always do with half and half because it makes it nice and creamy. So, if you like creamy coffee. Okay, TPC. It is a huge, 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 like the town shuts down for this. I feel like every town has that one event. This is that one event. And it used to be in, I think June. And it was brutal hot. So now they moved it back to March. It's lots more tolerable. Today it was like 76, breezy, sun out, 100%, no clouds in the sky. It was awesome. And so I'm excited to be out there serving. I'm going to have the same weather, and I'm very excited about that. They do a thing, last night they did it, where it's a thank you to veterans, and veterans, I believe, get in free. But then they also have a show, and Jordan Davis was there performing for everybody. We went 2 years ago. I can't remember who was there. The bigger news story for us was Trevor Lawrence was there. And that was when we were having an awesome season with the Jags. So we were pumped to see Trevor Lawrence in the background watching the same concert that we were at.
What else you got going on?
It's spring break next week. When do you guys have your spring break? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't pay attention. I'm a very bad father.
Well, I mean, typically how the household runs is the dad kind of makes the money. I know your wife works too. But usually
does she,
the
though? Does she
she
really?
does. Yes, she does. And she cleans up after your stinky butt and your cute little kids. and
true.
she knows when their
My-
spring break is.
My underwear with the buttons and the safety pins and the
Tinfoil.
tinfoil. Those are hard
We've
to
got
clean.
beautiful bags and disgusting underwear, falling apart underwear.
So wrong. Oh, mercy. What else you got going on? Anything that's show approved?
Yes. Well,
Safe for the airways? All right.
it's a gray area. No, this one is perfectly good. The first episode of the version where I'm doing Women Making Memories to a Beat, where we're checking out live music, is officially coming out tomorrow. So I'm very excited. It's our first one. We just went to go see Robbie and Felix, which is a duo that I know of. I had Robbie on my podcast. They're very good. Very good. Yeah, we just talked about our night out, and she's going to be on there with me checking out other things, other live music acts or whatever. And we're getting that calendar filled up and putting the dates out so you guys can all come out and join us.
Very
What
nice.
are you going to be doing, Mr. J?
Well, I would like to take a moment to promote somebody else's show. Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
Do
here?
it. Do it.
About a week ago, I was a guest on Caden's show, the KGC show. Again, I said it slow so I get it right. KGC show. I was a guest on his show, and it's going to be coming out in 2 days, I believe. So if anybody would like to go check it out, please check it out. It was a fun time. It was a good conversation.
What you guys talk about?
Oh, I don't remember. It wasn't that good. I mean, come on, please. No, we just talked about what it's like to put a show together and talked about music and just all those type of things. And I got to turn the tables and ask him a few questions. So I had fun doing that. We talked about his show a little bit and driving force behind it. So it was a good conversation.
Okay. Good. I know he shared a little bit with us last week about his grandmother passing and then Kenny Rogers, and that was kind of what got him started. But it would be fun to learn about the evolution of how it turned from a solo podcast to an interview style.
An interview style show. Yeah.
Featuring the Jay Franzi.
I know. Outside of me, he's got some pretty good guests.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he knows some people that are in the music industry, and he was throwing some of his friends' names out there. And
Yeah. Yes, he does. He's got some good people, some good guests. So check out his show.
awesome. What are you doing this week coming up?
What am I doing? You care about me?
Yes, Jay.
I am probably going to suffer for 2 weeks. Because today's day one of my allergy attack. And usually they last 2 weeks. And then I end up going to the doctor and they give me a shot in my ass. And I get on a steroid
So you
pad.
do like anal.
Too late. Not the way I typically would. Well, no. Anyway. Not the way I would typically go about it. It seems to be a little ass backwards. Did we just say that? What time is it? 11:30.
I don't know, but if I had controls over here, I'd beep you out.
Oh, Caden is a great friend. I truly appreciate the three of you. There you go.
Says George.
Says George. Thank you. Don't want George
Yes.
mad at us, even though he says you're his best friend.
Right. Well, you get back what you put out.
So what you're saying is you put out, and that's why George is your best friend. I got it. See? The truth comes out. Nice. George is married. Leave George alone. Don't be flirting with George.
Too.
Don't be, well, it's fine. I understand you're married, but don't be flirting with George. I have respect for his wife. All right. Well, if you got nothing else, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah. I've shared it all. I've put it all out.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. George says he's closing his ears. Yeah. Thank you, George. Stay away. You've got a good one. Leave Tiffany alone. All right, folks, we have done it. We have reached the top of the hour. We have actually blown past the top of the hour. We've reached the bottom of the hour. So if you've enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. And Miss Tiffany, if you have not,
Tell two.
tell two. You can reach out to both of us over at jfrenzy.com. We will be happy to keep this conversation going. Maybe not this conversation, but any other conversation you would like to have.
We've already discussed that you like to stay in the right lane, the slow lane.
Is that what is the slow lane? Yeah, you're in the left lane, which should be the passing
speeding
lane,
lane.
but you call it the
It's
speeding
the
lane.
Speeding lane.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. It's all coming together now. All right, folks, please join us over at jfranzi.com. And you can also find our socials listed over there, and we'd love to connect with you there as well. All right, Miss Tiffany, final words coming your way.
All right. Well, everybody try to stay healthy. Don't let the allergies get you.
On that note, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Jay Franzi Show. Make sure you visit us at jfranzi.com. Follow, connect, and say hello. This episode has been brought to you by VR Knives, your source for 100% custom knives made by a true rock star. So, if you're in the market for a new piece of art, reach out to VR Knives. 407-421-5528. 407-421-5528.